Welcome back. We're still reviewing the papers and we're in the Punch. Who else is ready with a story?
Okay, so I have the Southern Governors. So the Southern Governors Forum, they said that they're seeking a way that state government should be allowed to negotiate minimum wage for their workers independently. That's independent of the federal government. So this meeting, they had a meeting that was held on Monday in Ogun State, and the governors of the South were in attendance. Their names have been listed. Because of time, I won't take all that. But they said during the forum, they discussed minimum wage issues demanded by labor, and they all agreed that minimum wage should be reflective of the cost of living, and that each state should be allowed to negotiate its minimum wage. They also said that during the forum, they also discussed fiscal federalism and also devolution of powers. Then also the report was talking about the presidency appealing to Nigerians to say that the president is, looking at the negotiations that have been going on between NLC and the federal government concerning minimum wage. As we know, Labour is asking for 250,000 naira, and federal government, the last time we heard, was still at 62,000 naira. He has not, presidency is not done, they said, but that we should be patient so that the presidency will get there. The Southern governors also highlighted the need for the inadequate power supply in the southern parts of the country. They said, as is the commercial and business hub of the country, it is important that they get better power supply to these areas. So those are some of the things that were highlighted during the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have the story for the Konga CEO allegedly jumps to death in Lagos apartment. They said the Lagos State Police Command has commenced an investigation to unravel the true circumstances surrounding the death of the former Chief Executive Officer of Konga, one of Nigeria's e-commerce giants, Nick Imudia, who reportedly died by suicide at his residence in the Lekki area of Lagos State. They said he's 45 years, was at home when he reached for his phone, contacted his United States-based brother and gave him instructions on how to share his wealth. He also reached out to his young daughter and informed her that he will always be there for her. And as of the time until his death, he was the CEO of D-Light, a leading innovator in residential solar energy solutions. He went to his balcony of his apartment on Tuesday, June 25th, 2024, and jumped down from there. The impact of his body hitting the ground was said to have claimed his life.
Oh, God.
May his soul rest in.
Amen. Yes. Only God knows all the struggles he'd been going through.
Oh, wow. We have investigated. I was actually a suicide, and there's no foul play.
They've started the
investigation. Yeah, so the federal government said they may get emergency vaccine doses from the Vaccine Alliance, Gavi, to contain the cholera outbreak in the country. The chief executive officer of Gavi, Dr. Sania Nishta, made a post on her X handle yesterday and said the body was concerned about the cholera outbreak in Nigeria and was ready to support the country in response. She tweeted, deeply concerned about the ongoing cholera outbreak in Nigeria. Gavi and partners are closely monitoring the cholera outbreak and stand ready to support the government to respond quickly, including request to emergency vaccine doses where needed. So the global cholera stockpile, which is funded by Gavi, is currently fully replenished and ready to help contain outbreaks and protect those at highest risk. They said there are 3 World Health Organization pre-qualified oral cholera vaccines available. They have the Dukoral, they have the Sanchol, and then the Uvicol. And the vaccines require 2 doses for full protection. Now, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention activated the Emergency Operations Center, which underscored the gravity of the situation in the country. The Director General of the NCDC, Dr. Jide Idris, said the EOC would serve as a nerve center for the coordination of the responses across the country. I just hope that we can do all we can to ensure that we curtail the cholera outbreak in the country. Let's move on now to the Daily Sun. Keyamo indicts private jet owners. Presidential jets, no blackmail can stop National Assembly from approving funds, according to the Senate. Minimum wage governors opt for more consultations, assure of commitment, and many more stories in the papers. What are we taking in the Sun? Who's ready? The Sun. Who's ready?
Who took the Keyamo?
I took
the
Keyamo,
Keyamo,
I can't even find it immediately now. So
okay. Have you seen it?
No.
While you're looking for it, let me take this one.
Good.
The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to eradicate child labor by 2025, in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, that's the SDGs. The government also pledged to align its efforts with the global adopted 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, joining 193 UN members in member states in collective commitments to combat modern slavery, human trafficking, and the worst form of child labor, including the use of child soldiers. The Minister of State for Labor and Employment in Kiruka, Onyejocha, was the one who made the declaration yesterday on the 3rd National Children's Conference on the Elimination of Child Labor held in Abuja. And she expressed appreciation for the support of international partners, including the International Labour Organization, the ILO, and the government of the Netherlands and the US government in the fight against child labor and forced labor. And she says, I quote, despite the challenges, Nigeria has made significant progress in addressing child labor, including the ratification of the ILO conventions and the establishment of the National Steering Committee on Child Labor. And then she went ahead to acknowledge the alarming global statistics on child labor and forced labor, but went ahead to also express optimism that with the collective efforts, Nigeria can achieve their goal of ending child labor by 2025, at least.
Okay, so the Minister for Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has raised alarm over the rise of illegal charter operations, which he says become major security threats to the country. So he insisted that the private non-commercial flights operators were exploiting loopholes in the system and conducting illegal charters under the guise of legitimate operations. He said they often involve the collusion of air operators' certificates and holders who collect fees and turn a blind eye. He said some of their crew members and some of their pilots have not gone for their simulation tests for a long time. They've not undergone the mandatory simulators training in years and are flying with fraudulently obtained licenses, and that they, of course, pose a risk to our airspace, and they should be checked. He said they're already doing something to check them. He also insisted that the private jet owners are using aircraft for money laundering, drug trafficking, and other allegations that he made. He said he has set up a task force to clamp down on all of these illegal private charter and that they will be checked. He said the task force would also recommend to the minister any additional measures to be taken by regulatory agencies, recommend appropriate sanctions to be imposed by the regulatory agencies on defaulters, recommend additional measures to further monitor the operations and activities of private aircraft in Nigeria. And I hope that this task force sits up, because some of this I have always felt, why would private jet owners just be able to travel? Who is checking what? You know, unlike how public flights are checked
to check your passports and check who you are.
Drug trafficking and all of that. Who checks private?
Oh, so with the jet, you can just carry your bag and go.
Well, the minister is saying it, and I'm just like, and this has always occurred to me. And so money laundering also as well. So this has to be, task force has to sit up.
Okay. Should I move on to the Nigerian Tribune?
Okay.
Oh, right. So, major headline, private illegal aircraft used for drug trafficking. And Nima just took that. Minimum wage, each state should be allowed to negotiate with labor unions. We have taken that. I design my shoes, according to the Oni. Explain why he doesn't wear wristwatches. Oh, I wish I read that. EFCC chairman orders arrest of officers involved in Lagos hotel raid. I hope somebody took that. Yahaya Bello seeks transfer of case to Kogi. Senate says no to request for presidential jets. Ogbomoso chief imam Keksas Song queries him over Hajj conferment of religious titles. Sokoto Assembly refers Emirate Council Amendments Bill to committee. NUT berates federal government, wants continuous funding for TRCN. National Economic Council meets silence on minimum wage. Tinubu approves National Construction Household Support Program rollout. What do we have?
I have the EFCC. So the EFCC executive chairman has ordered the arrest of 2 officers of the commission. They were involved or allegedly involved in manhandling of a female staff of Regional Hotel Ojo. I think many of us have seen the video where it looked like the EFCC officials had gotten into a room and you could see they physically assaulted a lady. So based on that video, that's why the EFCC chairman is talking. And he says that, first of all, that sting operation yielded a sizable number of suspects who are still being profiled, but the EFCC has ordered detailed investigation into the operation that was carried out, and that and they are assuring Nigerians that appropriate disciplinary measures will be taken against any of the officers found to be culpable. The officers in question had insisted on sealing off the premises, but the video from the scene, of course, went viral afterwards. So after investigation, what I would like to hear is really exactly who these people are, why they felt the need to physically assault the lady in question, and exactly what the disciplinary measures are, because we would normally get statements like this that says, don't worry, we're investigating and disciplinary measures will be taken, but we just never hear anything else.
Yeah. I'm just grateful that, the EFCC chairman admitted that was their operation. That they have yielded sizable suspects. Because what would have is that on gun
it's not also.
It's not them.
Unknown gunmen.
Let me just say that the former governor of Kogi State has applied to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court to transfer his investigation to Kogi State.
Wow. What's the reason?
The people that own the ATM money, something big.
They should be the ones to prosecute.
He should be prosecuted in Kogi State. Even I myself. I don't want to say what I think.
Thank you, ladies. That's all we can take in the newspaper segment. When we come back, we touch on the top stories making the trends on social media. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.